Hi guys, nice to meet you. My name is Stefan. I'm here with my colleague Anna, and we'll talk today about our newest edition, the Docu App. And maybe a quick introduction. I've been working with K2 for almost 9 years now, and I'm the head of the Digital Solutions Department, which is taking care of our digital products that we offer you, like Base, like our Check App, and the Docu App, which will be presented today.
Hey, thank you. My name is Edda, and a warm welcome to everybody. I'm working for K2 since 1 year almost, and I'm also part of the Digital Solution Department, and I look forward to introducing you today to our Docu App.
All right, I would say let's dive right into it. Maybe quick before we start. If you have any questions, please ask them. You can use the FAQ module for that one. If you want to, you can also raise your hand, and we'll be able to unmute you guys, and you can also ask questions directly. And yeah, we're more than happy for feedback. So please ask if you have anything. And I'm going to start with a quick introduction, few slides, not a lot, and then we'll dive right into the practical part where Edda will show you a little bit of Base, how you get the project from Base to the Docu App, and yeah, the Docu itself. All right, then I will say, let's start.
Let's go.
All right, so as a quick introduction, I know it's not like that, but that might be what people think when you tell them I'm an installer, right? You have nice talks to customers, have very relaxing, maybe a coffee with the customer in the background, and you're just installing the modules. Not a lot of stress, not a lot of hassle, and you're able to get off work quite early on, and then just relax, and then you do something in the afternoon. Obviously, as you know, it's not like that, right? So a reality check, quite often it's the total opposite, right? You have annoying customer calls, everybody's stressing you out, you have a lot of paperwork lying around, like mountains of paperwork, and you're just rushing from project to project to meet your deadlines. And yeah, so that's also what we got from a lot of feedback for you guys. And we prepared a quick survey we would like to start now, just to have a little insight into what you guys are doing. What we saw is that a lot of our installers quite often think the documentation of an installation is quite a pain in the ass, right? Takes a lot of time, it's really frustrating, and yeah, we just wanted to know how it is for you, right? And also what you're using for documentation so far. Let's just wait a little bit to get feedback. All right, first answers are flocking in. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Looks like you're medium annoyed to a lot annoyed. That's also what we got as feedback so far from a lot of other colleagues and also a lot of installers out there. Oh, all right, and there's already some of you guys are already using the K2 DocuApp, which is quite cool. Glad for that. If you have more in-depth questions, please answer them. Right? We're here for you guys to answer them. Some are also using separate tools, and quite some are also using folder structure on the computer, which is the pretty old school version of doing the documentation. Okay, perfect. Then we'll just finish the survey now. Thanks for taking part. And again, if you have any questions in between, just shoot. We're more than happy to answer. So, all right. And because we noticed how the reality for most of you installers out there is, we thought of how can we make your life easier, right? We already have a digital toolbox at K2 that we offer you guys. We have the Check app that you can use to collect data, then use that one in your Base account to do your planning. And next step, once you did the planning phase, you're going more into the actual installation of the project. We now have the documentation app, or short Docu App, that you can use to document the whole project. The idea behind it is, instead of just thinking about, it would be quite cool having a short vacation, maybe a day off, and then doing some trips to the mountain, right? And thinking of it while you're doing all the paperwork and documentation in the afternoon, in the evening, or maybe even on the weekends. It would be cool if you could do that in reality. And our idea was, we already have a lot of the information that goes into a typical documentation from our side, right? If you guys are using Base, then you know it's a quite easy to use tool. You have all the, and you guys have all the information digitally. Means we know what mounting system you have been using. We have the structural verification for that, and because of the mounting system, we can then assume the corresponding product data sheets. We have the assembly instructions, and of course our warranty terms, all digital, right? Means you can just export that into the Docu App, start with those pre-filled, and you have the option of easily enriching that with a lot of additional data. Means the modules, the inverters, cabling, batteries, if you have that. And the idea then is for you to be able to have your customer sign off on the documents, right when you're on site, when you're doing the installation, when you finish, we tell them, look, there's your modules on the roof, there's the inverter, and here's the documentation that's taking part of it, right? And you can sign off on it. And then afterwards, you will be able to send out the documentation right away. Means less hassle. Yeah, and of course, here's some pictures of it. It's downloadable for the App Store. You can get it on Google Play, and we have it as a web version. If you guys haven't installed it, you can just use your smartphones now. You can also quite follow during the webinar. Just use those QR codes you can see on the right side to download and install it. Installation, of course, free of charge. As always, we have one account, so you use your Base account for all digital features, for the Check app, for Base, and for the Docu App. The goal is, as we said, to automate the project documentation, and in the end, to save you guys a lot of time. Right? Cool thing is, we already have a share function integrated. It means you can work with all of your colleagues on the project. With your whole team, doesn't matter how many people you have working on it. And as I showed earlier, your customer can sign the documentation directly on your cell phone. And of course, also available as a web app. All right. One quick thing, quite important. So I'm going to take a little time to answer that. It's the Docu App is our first app where we actually have our first digital tool that we're selling. And there's actually a quite important reason behind that, which is why I want to take time to explain it a little bit more in detail. The thing is, documentation, we're going more into legal terms, right? And we want to be able to provide you guys the safety and the surety that the servers will not be taken offline, that we will have the documentation readily available for you. Doesn't matter in 5 years or 10 years or even after that. All right, so because quite often, if something happens, if you or your customers actually have to look into the documentation, that takes some time. It doesn't happen overnight, right? Exactly. Plus, we also wanted to be able to make sure that we can enrich it with a lot of additional features. We already got quite a lot of feedback since we launched in the German-speaking countries last June. And we had several updates you might see once you download. And yeah, quite a lot of customer feedback. But we also
there is an interesting question.
Yeah.
Is there a trial version?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course.
We have 5 documents for free.
Exactly, like Ella said. You can download it for free. You can completely use it for free, right? The only time when you actually would have to pay after your 5 trial documentations is if you completely finish the documentation. Means if you have the customer sign off and then send it out to the customer. We already have some people that are using it without sending it out, just for internal documentation. That part, of course, is totally free. All right, and maybe a little bit about the payment model that we've chosen. Might look a little complicated. I'm going to explain it. And what we're doing is we're using a pay-per-use model. As I said, you only pay if you finish a documentation. Means you have an actual project that you will invoice your customer for, right? And we only take a quite moderate amount of 3.49 euros per project. We also thought we don't want to overcharge you guys. If you're doing a lot of projects, we don't want to punish you for that. So there's a maximum number of build projects per month, which is 15. And the biggest and the most important reason why we thought to go with a pay-per-use model was that we know quite often you have a lot of people involved with the installation. And for a typical, especially larger project, there will be several people who will have to need access to the documentation for the project. And we thought it's quite unfair charging you guys for having more people work on the app. And that's why we thought, okay, only if you actually document. Means I have two examples to show you that. Let's assume your company A, you have 2 installers, you're doing 5 projects per month, and then the price would be 5 times 3.49 euros, which is 17.45 euros total. And then there's company B, larger company, has more installers, also has internal planners. They're doing just a fictional number, 25 projects per month. They don't pay for individual users, just for the first 15 projects. Means the other 10 they're completely for free. And the maximum that you would have to pay is 50.35 euros. If you have more questions about that, please ask. We can also put in a link to our webpage where we have some more info. I think I or Edda will just post it later in the chat function. Okay. If there's no more questions for the time being, I would say let's head right into the actual documentation. And yeah, I will hand over to Edda to give you guys the live demo.
Thank you, Stefan. Now I change the view to our planning software base. I hope you can see the screen. And I guess everybody of you knows our planning tool base. This is the base dashboard, and I prepared a project to show you how to export your base project to Docu App with just a few clicks. This is the project for the Johnson's family house, and it's completed with base. As you can see, here are the project data,
Roof design of the mounting system, results, and at the end, the summary of my project. And on this page, we have a button called Export to Docu App. You have to know that when your project is in the planning status or in the progress status, then you have the possibility to click this button to export your project to the Docu App. But when you change the status into complete, it will automatically send to the Docu App. So when the project is complete, you can send it to the Docu App. That's it, that's all. And now I change to our Docu App web version. And as you already know, we have the Docu App as iOS app and Android app, and also as a web version, as you can see here under docuapp.k2-systems.com. And this is the start screen of our app, where you have the project overview of all projects you are documenting at the moment, or you are finished with documentation. And yes, and first of all, I show you a little bit around how to basically find your way in the app. We have a menu, a main menu on the left side, where you have access to your account settings. For example, your company details, you can edit them here. You can upload your own logo. This logo will appear in your documentation file at the end. And here are also the settings for payments. And we have a help and support section where you find quick help, for example, writing us a mail, writing us per WhatsApp, or click on FAQ, that you find a list of frequently asked questions we answered for you. Right, but back to the project overview. And now we want to create our new project. Here's a plus button where you have basically two options. The first option is to import your base project, the project you remember we saw in base, or you can create a new project from scratch. But I will now import my base project because the big advantage is that then I have many data already in my documentation and I don't have to do multiple entries of data. So I click on import. These are the projects I can select. This is a Johnson's family house. I select this project, import now, and then it takes a few seconds. And I have it in my project overview, the Johnson's family house. Okay, great. Follow me into the documentation. I open it, and now you have insights of the project of Johnson's family house. This is a list of categories. It's a default set. Every project has it in the beginning. And it contains most important parts of your PV installations and important parts of your PV project, like information to the mounting system. I can open it for you. You can see the name of the mounting system manufacturer, the name of the system, information to warranty. For example, a static report. This is all stuff from base you have already in your documentation, but it's also possible to add additional files or pictures, like with the upload button. And moreover, you can add information for the power inverter, string distribution, power store, or simply notes if you want. Okay. All things you enter here will be later be summarized in a fantastic documentation file. But this set of categories can also be customized. This is a great new feature we have since a couple of weeks. When you have individual wishes, you can add your own category. For example, when you need, when your project has a wall box, then you add your own category, wall box, save, and then you can add the information about the wall box. You can put them into order you want by drag and drop. Of course, you can delete some categories if you like. And you can hide categories if you like over this button. Over this button with the eye, click on the button. Are you sure to hide? Okay, yes, I'm sure, then it's hide it. And when you want to see it again, you click on this checkbox and you can see what categories are hidden in my category set, and you can bring it back to the front. So it's totally customizable. And when you found your perfect set of categories that fits to your individual projects, you can save this category set as a template. And you can use it again for your next project. Okay.
Anna, we got a question.
Yeah.
There's some user asking what kind of files can be uploaded?
So every file you like. So the most common file, of course, pictures, JPEGs, GIFs, PNGs, moreover, data files like PDFs, I guess Word files, Office files, and files from your planning tools. I don't know about special formats, but I know that almost every file format is possible for upload.
Cool. Thanks. And also shout out to you guys if you have any file format that cannot be handled, you can just tell us and we'll look into it. All right. Then a follow-up question also for the screen that you currently have is a question: what are the yellow dots for?
Okay, this is a very good question. The yellow dot is showing the status of the project. You have access to the status over project data. These are general project information. I open it for you. I go on edit. And here you can see the different status in the different colors. Offer phase, on order, under construction, installed, in operation, or archived. So this shows you in which status this project is at the moment. And under the project data, you have more general information, the address of your customer, for example. This is very cool when you fill this address and you use the Docu App on your smartphone. You can click on the address and your smartphone is navigating you directly to the construction area, to this address. So you don't have to type in street and city in Google Maps or what you are using. You can just click on it, just one click, and you will navigate it to your customer's address. This is a very nice, small feature, but a very nice feature. Our customers ask for it, so we talk to them a lot and we listen to what they want. And yeah, this is.
We just recently added that, right?
Right.
That one, and also the option of customizing the whole template, like I showed earlier. That wasn't there in the beginning when we launched, and we just had that released as well, due to a lot of customer feedback.
And
right. Another question.
Okay.
You mentioned that you can click on the address to directly go to the navigation that you're using on your smartphone, and can you also click on a phone number to directly call somebody out of the app?
Yes, of course you can. I can show you on my smartphone. Maybe this is better.
Yeah. Cool.
For example, this is the navigation, or I can put in phone number 2 here, and when I click on the phone number, the smartphone asks me if I want to call. Cancel now.
Nice. That's a lot of small stuff that we've been adding, but in the end, it saves a lot of time. Right?
Yes, definitely. And maybe the question before was also about this yellow dots. And this yellow dots shows you if this section or this category is complete. complete with information. So when you click this checkbox, so you go into the module section, and then at the end of the form, you can check this checkbox, information of module is complete, save, and then the dot is not visible anymore, and then you have an overview on this page, which sections you have to work on it and what is already done. Right. Okay, let's have a look on my list. What I want to show you before this webinar is over is the next tab in your project documentation. Besides, the most important, of course, is this one, but you have also a contact tab where you can save contacts who are related to your project. For example, like a name and the phone number of the architect, or the name and the phone number of the electrician, or the name and the phone number of your customers, or members of the customer, when your customer is a company, for example. And the last tab in your project documentation is a checklist. The checklist, wait a moment. The checklist is a kind of task list. It's pre-filled with all categories you have already in the documentation part. So this is pre-filled. Here you can see the wall box. I added it, and the other categories for the documentation. And it shows you what tasks I have to do, or what tasks are open, and then you can check the task, and then it's not visible anymore. You can see completed tasks here. You can see all tasks, open tasks and completed tasks under all, and you can see the outstanding tasks here.
What happens if I accidentally click on one?
Pardon?
If I accidentally mark one as done?
You can bring it back. Just click on the checkbox. And then it's back in outstanding tasks, and yes.
Can I also add new categories here?
Yes, you can. I show you on my smartphone. Of course, it's also completely customizable. I go into the Johnson's family house, task, checklist. And here you can, for example, add a new category. Roof work. Oh, excuse me. And then you can add a new task to your category. For example, lay cable. So you can,
nice. Yeah. Again, we got a lot of feedback that you guys, of course, everybody has some different ways of how they do their work, and we wanted to enable you to have that reflected in a document as well. So you can also customize, like I just said, you can completely customize the checklist as well.
Right. Okay, perfect. So that's our the functions, the main functionalities of the documentation for Johnson's family house. And I go back to the web version. 1 second. And there are also more good news, because as Stefan mentioned before, it's possible to work with many people or several people together on one project. I show you how this is how this works. So for example, we have the Johnson's family house again. And under project data, so the general project information, you have also access to the user management. It works with the user management of the app. And when you open the user management, you see which users are already authorized to have access to the project, or you can add more users. And all these users are part of your company. And to show you this, I have to go a step back. I have to leave the project and open the main menu and go to the account settings. And the account settings contains also a user management where you can invite your colleagues or people who should work on projects of your company. And here you have a full list of all members of your company. And when you go on the project level, you can decide which of this member has access to this project or that project. And that's how you can work together on one documentation. For example, someone is outside on the construction area and is using the app. Someone is in the office sitting on the desktop PC and is using our web version, for example. Sometimes it's easier to upload files and pictures from your desktop PC, and then you can do it here. Okay. Next great feature, and the best is this I show you now. The customer can give you his digital signature to approve at the end the installation, the PV installation. So I show it on my smartphone. The digital signature is not available on the web version. It's only available on the app. 1 second. This is the Johnson family, and now I get the digital signature from Mr. Johnson to generate, after that, to generate the fully documentation. So I go into.
Before you do that, maybe a quick question is, like, maybe it's just me, but I would like to see first what I'm signing. Is there a way to preview?
Oh yes, of course. Good point, Stefan. For example, this Johnson's family house documentation, you think, okay, I guess I have everything together, and you want to double check it. You can scroll at the end of the documentation category overview, and at the end, the round button is the preview mode. And when you click it, it opened a preview documentation. This is a PDF file. So yeah, you can go through it and you can check it, or you can see if this looks good. Here is your logo, and are the data correct, and so on. So it's possible to see it.
Okay. So the typical process would be you would show that preview first to the customer, go through with him, and then just after that add the signature.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, and then Mr. Johnson is happy and he wants to sign, and the project is finished. And the last section here is the approval section where you can get the signature. So as you can see, it's empty now, and you click on this edit icon, and your customer can sign with his finger on your smartphone or your tablet. Then you save the signature. Yes.
Maybe you clicked pretty fast, but for you guys to know, that would be the point at which the documentation would be where you would have the payment occur. So everything up to this point you can just do for free. You can document for yourself internally. Only if the customer really signs it and the project is completed, then would be the time where the payment would occur.
Yeah, and the status of the project is automatically changed from under construction. Oh, I have to use my smartphone. Sorry, I'm a little bit confused between smartphone and desktop PC. So you see that the color of the dot changed to green, so it shows you that the status changed. After you got the signature, the documentation is finished. You can't change anything, edit anymore. So this is the version your customer gets.
And how does he get it?
And it gets it, for example, I show you here for the Smith family house is also completed, and I got the signature. And then you can create the documentation, and over the PDF button, you can open it, for example. And there you can see, I show you on the big screen. This is the Smith family house documentation with the address information, your logo up there, and a table of content. It's navigatable, for example, when you want to move to the power inverter information, it jumps there. And at the end, you have all documents you added additionally, for example, the data from base, calculation, informations, operating manuals, static reports. So you have everything in one document with one click. Okay.
Got another question here. It looks like it has a lot of pages, that file. How does the customer actually get it?
This is a very good question. This is the next feature. This is, for example, this button, you can send it out as per mail directly from your smartphone.
Okay. Is the complete PDF being attached, or?
Yes. It's a link for him to download. For example, you can click on the link, and then you enter, for example, this page in the browser, and then you can download it on your PC, or you can print it out if you like.
So the file itself is not attached because it's too large, right?
Yes, yes.
It's just a link so the final customer can download it. Okay.
Right, of course, that's true. Yeah, it depends on how many files you add to your documentation, and that makes your documentation probably a little bit bigger or smaller.
Yeah. So we got two additional questions there. One is from Lisa: can I also give the document to my customer on USB stick? Of course you can. Like Alice showed earlier, you can download it yourself and then just put it onto a USB stick, or that would basically be the way of doing it, right? And another one from Mikael, he's asking if there is a small version you can print to a customer not using computers. So basically, yes, just correct me if I'm getting it wrong, Michael. What I would do, you can just, basically you have to give the customer all the documents, right? Which in this case is quite a lot. It's almost 400 pages. Typically, you can also just do a selected printing. If you say, okay, he doesn't need all the manuals and installation parts, you should skip that part and have the rest printed out. And then
right.
Basically put it into a folder and then give that one to him.
Yeah, you can decide to print only the pages that contains point 1 to 8 and leave the appendix, and you can make it over the settings of your printer.
Yeah.
This could be a solution.
All right, cool. If you guys have more questions, please ask. More than happy to have conversation. It's always more fun for us as well.
Yeah, of course, that's very valuable feedback to know about your experience. And I hope we made you a little bit curious about the app for everyone who's not using it at the moment. I can really recommend you to use it in your daily work routine. It's very valuable, and it can save you a lot of time. And it's a very nice feature also in communication with your customer, to give him information digitally, and it's also a good feature to work with your colleagues together on one project. Yeah.
All right. Another follow-up question is: can all projects also be loaded from Base into the app? Kind of like to have an archive overview. Yeah.
You can import every project from Base to the Docu App.
All right.
The only condition is that the status is completed, and when the status is completed, it will be automatically export to the Docu App.
Cool. Thank you. Maybe a quick thing, I'm not sure if you mentioned that earlier. You can, of course, also use this app if you're not using K2 modeling structures. Means
Oh yeah,
if
right.
we allow, like, if I can just click on the plus button quickly.
Yeah. When you create a project from scratch, a new project, of course, I make it quick, check. So here's a new project. Every category is empty. So of course you can add a different mounting system manufacturer if you like.
But we prefer if you use K2, of course.
Yeah, and make it more easier, of course. Yeah, when you work with K2 Base, and you have all the information already in there.
Yeah,
So,
it's a big plus.
Yeah,
right?
of course.
Because all the mounting part is already taken care of. You don't have to redo that. There's no manual uploading it or anything. Thanks, Asa. Got some feedback. We think it's a quite cool tool. Very simple, easy to use. Really happy about it. If you have, and like, let's assume they're not trying it out, they have some feedback, some questions, how can they get in touch with us?
Okay, so when you install the app, of course you can always get in touch with us over the help and support section. Or go on our website, k2-systems.com, and use our email, support email address or phone number. And so you can always write to app@k2-systems.com, .de or .com. It's both possible. And
I'm
yeah.
also just going to post again in the chat, so you also have it there. If you
Right.
have any questions, just contact us. We're really happy about feedback, not only to the apps, of course, to everything else as well. Base questions, etc. You can also get in contact with us.
Right.
I'm more than happy to help. We got another question regarding API connection. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Not sure about that. It's from Banash. He was asking if the API has, if the app has API connections. I would assume kind of like Base, right? Follow-up question for you. Are you thinking of anything specific? Because as we just launched the app, we're currently in quite new status. We don't have existing API connections yet. If there are tools where you think it makes sense, also provide us feedback. We would be happy to look into that and see if that's possible.
Yeah. So you are in you will start in a perfect phase because we are improving the app from day to day. And when you give us your feedback now, so this is very important for us, and we use this feedback a lot. So it's worth it to jump on the Docu App and make it better than it already is.
Yeah. Perfect. Thanks, guys. We've got a lot of appraisal in the chat now. Quite happy
Right.
to hear that. I think the team, Ella, Lisa, Anna, they're doing a really good job there, and of course you guys as well, right? Because we kind of live off your feedback. If you give us ideas, thoughts on how to improve it, we're more than happy to look into it. I would say, since it seems like there's not a lot of questions coming in anymore, we can probably finish the official part. So go back. I think maybe we can just quickly show the feedback we got from one of our customers. You can just jump
Oh
back
yeah,
into
of
the
course.
presentation.
But there are the slide.
It was one of our beta testers from Austria, actually, and he was really happy about it. And they're actually using it a lot. And he said that they can use the app on all the projects, even those where they don't install K2, like we showed earlier. And I can just recommend what he's saying. Just try it out, give it a shot, and yeah, give us feedback on it. All right.
Yeah,
so,
definitely. Thank you very much for your attention.
Yeah. Also from my side, it was really nice interacting with you guys, chatting with you. We'll just leave open the chat and the FAQ section for a little bit longer. So if you still have questions that we haven't answered yet, just feel free, go in there, and we'll check that out. Yes, I was just saying that we should work a little bit more on the pricing part, but yeah, we can discuss that. But the thing is, of course, again, we have running server costs on that, and we're basically just covering those costs with the documentation pricing. We're not doing it to earn money, it's just to cover the expenses there, right? And of course, also to help all you guys with your projects and everything. Cool. Yeah, so we'll close it from our side. Again, if there's still questions, just feel free. Answer them, put them in now, we'll answer them, or get in contact with us later on. All right.